Change clothes. When I go on a trail, this is what I look like. This is why I changed clothes for you. Any trails go like this. There are sections where you make really good progress. And then there are breaks in the action. The really quick progress are going to be periods of time when I show you images and pictures that I've taken over the years that I may not be talking at all. We'll make some really fast progress. And then we will take breaks and get into themes and issues in a little bit more depth. So we're going to go on a hike together. I'm your tour guide for today. I'd like to introduce you to the American border peak and the Canadian border peak, those two to the right of the valley. And right between those two mountains is the border between the two countries. And then the real symmetric peak to the right, that's Larrabee. Ross! Teddy bear.
Is that your teddy bear?
It's Cindy's teddy bear. Torrance teddy bear. A hole punch. What? Yeah, that's right. What the hell's going on here? Wands. These are wands. Wands. Let me show you what wands are. This is for mountaineering when you're in the snow. You set these, you use these to leave a trail for yourself so you know how to get back. So we got some wands. My core family. Obviously this wasn't when we were young, but what I want to show you, there's my sister Bonnie in the middle. Here's another shot of her. She's not here. She lives near Cape Kennedy or Canaveral, whatever it's called these days. And my brother Ron, who is here. He lives in Bellingham. Mary Lou gave me these. Where's Mary Lou? I hiked together for decades with Mary Lou. She got these for me because I am often known as Wrong Way Rick. And this shows me what's up and what's down. Good on. Good on, okay. Styling? Okay. Where the fuck are we? So, this was the hardware and paint store my dad owned, and quite frankly, this is the closest to construction I ever got before buying A1 Builders.
What do you mean, still?
That comes from one of my past clients and friends and wanderers. So in third grade, we moved further east on the island to Baldwin, Long Island. This is the house I grew up in from when I was in third grade all the way until I left for college. In Baldwin, there was Baldwin High School. What a surprise. My first activism was becoming student council president at Baldwin High School. It was an amazing success story because here I was, this pretty nerdy fat dude with zits, and beat 3 women who were just foxes, but they split the vote. Pretty smart, huh? So my activism involved some pretty heavy-duty things. I got a jukebox in the cafeteria. I got the first dress code in Baldwin. I created grievance assemblies so students could bitch about what was going on in the school. And, Michelle and Derek will love this one, I created a discount card for members of the general organization, the GO, the student council, where if you were a member, you got a discount card, and there were about 60 local stores. You could go in and get a discount. So it was buy local from when I was in high school. We're all doing well. There's a cloud forming right next to us. We could see Hood, Adams. Perfect day. This is our first glimpse of the rim, too. So I go to MIT after getting extremely good grades, and what MIT has in the first year is its pass-fail. The first evaluation I got had a check marked in a box that said, if you continue your behavior or your work like this, you will fail. It was a giant wake-up call for this nerd. Okay? I took it to heart. I started studying. I did fine. I needed to pick a major. What major was I going to pick? Well, I was really into sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I was into the 60s, and I wanted to stay there, but I didn't know what major. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I picked what was the easiest major, which was management. It was the least amount of courses I needed to take, so I got a BA in management at MIT at the Sloan School. To my shock and awe, without applying, I got a free master's degree. It was in the Department of Aeronautics and Astronautics because of my attention to flight transportation. And it was the first time there was a school in the nation that had a flight transportation department. And what the activism in me was going towards was working on airport noise and trying to help neighbors who are living near the airport and creating ghettos. I also want to stress that on that path, because I didn't know what I really wanted to do, I've never been driven on a certain path, I got a teaching certificate. Like the ones, I figured it was a really good thing since I may not know what I want to do. I may want to come back to teaching. And I figured with a teaching certificate, it could help me be a generalist and I could live anywhere I wanted to. Let me talk a little bit more about airport noise. Basically, neighborhoods around big airports become ghettos. The noise is simply too great to live a normal life, bring up a family, hold a conversation. So while I was doing my master's degree, I had to get an internship. And what happened was I applied for and became assistant operations manager at Logan International Airport for just a summer. Interestingly enough, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Well, what I want to stress is I was the only non-military person on staff. Everyone else in the aviation world had come from the military. I was so allergic to the need to dress up and wear a jacket and tie, hence the garment bag. I would go on the MTA to work dressed like I normally do, carrying a garment bag so that I could minimize the amount of time I had to wear my jacket and tie. So all these military guys, most of the guys, in fact, almost all guys, look at me coming from MIT as, who's this guy? Who's this nerd? That internship had a major effect and fueled my mid-course correction. Enter the icon of the teddy bear. I think it's between my bachelor's and master's degree. Josh Geller, the guy who's played piano for you, my best friend from MIT days, still my best friend, he wakes me up and says, on the news was a crash at Logan International Airport. And I went into the airport to help out as best I could, not knowing how I would help out. What had happened was a DC-9 had plowed into a retaining wall on approach and somersaulted, killed 97 people, killed everybody on the plane. I asked the supervisor, could I go out to the runway? With no military experience, not seeing anything quite like this, I went out to the runway after the intact bodies had been removed. So what's on the runway? Teddy bears, pieces of body, wallets, jewelry, seats. Looking down this foggy, it's nighttime, fog, a broken up plane that had somersaulted and killed 100 people. It wasn't just that sight. These ghettos, people were coming onshore in their rowboats and their motorboats to try to get onto the airfield to get the wallets and the jewelry. I had to experience the National Guard being called in to protect the perimeter of the airport. I got to experience news cameramen wanting to be at the right moment, to be near the holding area where the relatives and friends were, show up, find out if your loved one died. And cameramen trying to be at the right time, at the right place, to take a picture of a person who just found out their loved one died. Came really close to punching out a cameraman.
Are happening now. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? We're saving paradise by peddling the work a lot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? We're saving paradise and think of a cure for rot. We're dreaming paradise, so turn down the heat. Too hot. We're saving paradise, but peddling to work a lot. Rick's talking paradise, and now just won't stop. Happy birthday, Rick!
Two more coming.
Are you having a good time, Rick?